And we're recording this discussion on listening to Kristen Boss, day one. And we were just discussing habits. And again, I think it's very normal to come off of, the holidays and all the crazy and all of that. And I know that my habits have slipped. I had a very strict schedule. I've always had a very strict schedule. And you come climbing out of December and you're like, I don't even know where to begin because you haven't had a schedule in so long. I'm gonna try to remember where I heard those that other training, and we'll do that one next, because if I were to give you those three things, if it's habits, skills, or belief, where do you think you lie, each of you? Where do you think you're falling, not failing, falling, or failing? Kristen's like, embrace the failure. For me, it's for sure habits.
I think for me, it's a combination of habits and belief.
Okay.
I believe in it, absolutely. But I get frustrated when others don't believe in it with the same tenacity that I do, because they don't see it. So it's not necessarily my belief, but it's other people's beliefs with our product. So I think it could be a combination of both for me.
Yeah. 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 Anybody else have input on that?
For me, it comes down to like executing the skills, because I have the skills, I have the knowledge, but it's actually executing it. And I'm such a type A personality that if I can't do it perfectly the first time, I talk myself out of it because it's not going to be good enough. And I feel like she really touched on that, because she's like that primitive brain, like your vision board and your primitive brain, and how they can kind of almost clash against each other, because your primitive brain doesn't care about those goals. It's right. Just fight or flight, right? Yeah. So my primitive brain is just like, if you can't do it right the first time, don't do it at all. And then I talk myself out of doing it.
Interesting.
And I have the skills, but now I need to put it with the belief that like, oh, you can do it right the first time.
Right. You sound awesome too. Yeah. Yeah, I really like that you brought that up, because one of the things that she really does talk about is this is going to be hard. It's going to be hard, and it's not always going to be fun. It doesn't mean that it's not joyful. It doesn't mean that you can't find enjoyment in it. It doesn't mean what it means is it's going to be hard, and you're going to fail. We're all going to fail. I will be, again, I try to be as transparent as I can be. I have a really hard time setting goals, right? I have a really hard time with that. Because I'm often listening to somebody else. Karen, are you trying to come in on your phone? Okay. I didn't know somebody was impersonating you. Yeah, where do
that only happens to Lori.
Yeah, right. Poor Lori. We're so glad you're back, though, by the way. Yeah, I lost my train of thought, but yeah, just you're gonna fail. You're gonna setting goals, struggling with setting goals. She wrote, Lori said that she her aha next to that page, primitive brain and motivational triad. Yeah. It's so interesting. Your brain's job is to protect you and keep you safe and keep you in that little safe place, right? But every single person on this call has experienced success in this business, and you didn't do it by staying safe. You did it by doing something scary or different or challenging yourself to do something, right? But our brain then tells us again, okay, well, you mustn't do that again because that was terrifying, right? But that's what pushes us and what gets us to where we want to be. Okay, any other ahas, thoughts, anything? Primitive brain, I would have the off. You wish you had the off button. I mean, it's kind of why you're alive still. So I mean, I don't think we want it to go completely away, the primitive brain, right? It is what keeps us safe, but we have to she talked about the emotions, the feelings that come, and it's okay to have the feelings, and then understand, recognize the feelings, and move through them. Anya, I see your hand up.
Well, you can finish your statement.
That was basically
Oh,
it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go very, very transparent and very vulnerable with this. I hated the questions at the beginning, the Q&A. I was talking to Cass and I'm like, I just hated them. And some of them I actually wrote like, this is stupid. So I kind of walked in very hesitant from the just homework part. Because I train, I do goals. So I was like, I wasn't sure. And it was so hard for when it's like when I realized that I have an unmanaged mind, to admit that was really hard because like I come from a place of abundance. I come from the place of there's enough for everybody. I train, I coach, I read books. So I was like, my mind's good. And then when she started talking about the hustle and talking about like the anxiety, the overwhelm. I mean, I still remember one of the calls that we had with Chris Whitaker, and she's like, how do you feel at the end? Like when you reach your goals? And I was like, calm, because I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And last year, I burnt myself out. I hit a really bad place because of the hustle, because of just keep going and more. And if I do more, and if I do more, this will come. So it really hit hard. And I had to actually like find peace with this part that I do have to work on my mindset and my shift. And I actually stopped myself yesterday from going back into my habits of last year. And I released my big list of recruiting people that I've been working with since day one. And I almost picked it back up because I was like, I'm doing nothing right now. I should just start sending out those messages. But I stopped because those are not my people anymore. I'm starting fresh. And I'd rather have 5 conversations than 100 like I previously did. Yeah. So I need to work on not hustling. I just need to work on attracting whatever's coming my way and being open to it. But it was really hard, that mindset, and realizing that my mindset is garbage. But it's fixable.
I mean, and Cass, I saw your hand up too, but really quick, what I want to say is the hustle is built in to this business. That hustle, that anxiety, that stress is very much built in a lot of ways to this business model. And it takes a lot of effort to resist that. Kaz and I have done this for 20 years together. I quit my first business with her because I couldn't take the anxiety and I couldn't take the stress of it all the time. And I certainly have been in that place as well, and just exactly where you've been, Anya, and we've all been there. It takes a lot to step away from that and be authentic with yourself about what your goals are, what you want. Kaz, what were you going to say?
I have a different thing. So Crystal, did you have something that you wanted to say following up with Anya?
Yeah, following up with Anya, I was just going to say, it really hit home about the unmanaged mind again when she said 80% of our thoughts are negative, recurring, or subconscious thoughts. And, she makes a point. We have to check our thoughts. We have to think about it very clearly because it's easy to spiral into that hole. And like you were saying, talking yourself out of things. I mean, we know how capable we are to do certain things. And when things aren't going our way, it's like you said, fight or flight. We're going to talk ourselves out of it. So we got to check our thoughts because that's those negative thoughts that are going on in our head. And that's that subconscious. And that's our body and brain trying to protect ourselves. And sometimes we got to definitely check that. So that was an aha for me to say, you know what? I didn't realize it was 80% of our thoughts that are just not good, and you just got to focus on thinking of more of the positive side of things.
Yeah, so I'll tag on to you, and then I have my other thought. We've heard that story of the 2 wolves in your head, and whichever one you feed the most, whether it's the negative or the positive, that's the one that has the louder voice, right? And so that 80% wolf is pretty big, and we keep on feeding that one. Yeah. So we have to, capture our thoughts. I wanted to come to towards the beginning of what she was talking about, where we need to question our instincts and impulses, and the motivational triad. So we're wired to seek pleasure. We're wired to avoid pain, and we're wired to conserve energy. So how do we find ways of making what we do more fun?
Yeah.
How do we find ways of getting more pleasure from what we do, avoiding that pain that we don't want to feel, that feeling of, I don't want to be bothering people, and conserving energy. So achieving more by doing less. So I think if we can find ways of kind of being intentional about those things, we'll have a better time of it.
What does it say? Seek pleasure, avoid pain. Yeah. I can't see what you circled there, but yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Building the business goes against everything in the motivational triad.
That's what my aha was next to that sentence
Yeah.
you just said. Building a
Right?
business goes against everything in your motivational triad. And that was my aha of the whole thing.
So it's no wonder that it's a struggle and it's a challenge and it's damn hard,
Yeah.
right? That's what she said later on. It's meant to be hard. We just have to find a way through to put our head down and keep on going.
Keep on going.
Right. And
Yeah.
then get together when we can and have fun and create that for other people as well.
Yeah. I think, stepping away from the hustle of it. And I mean, the hustle's built in. We're going to hustle. Everybody's on this call because on some level they got the hustle going on, right? It doesn't have to incapacitate us. It's fight, flight, or freeze, right? I definitely have myself frozen in times when I've been overwhelmed or, feel too much anxiety about what's going on. It's real easy for me to just be like, I don't know. Last year I talked a lot about fun and finding the fun again. I'm not sure I was particularly successful at that. Last year didn't really turn out to be the year that I thought it was going to be. But I'm super hopeful about this year. And, I love what you said, Kaz, find the fun in it. And yep, it's still going to be hard. Even though it's fun, it's still going to be hard, but find the fun, find your fun. What's fun for you and do that and feed that part of your brain. Right. Yeah, really good. And I'm excited for you guys, if you haven't already, to listen to tomorrow, because it really is on this same theme about, authenticity and being true to yourself and how that, again, I'm only halfway through 27 minutes that I listened to in 12, but I'll listen to it again, but just being really authentic to yourself, yeah, Lori, you are physiologically wired to resist your own goals. Isn't that a trip? That is so crazy to me. Just learning that about your brain, about my brain, has taught me a ton right there. This is crazy. Okay. Anyone else have anything pressing or a burning desire to share? No. Okay. We kind of covered everything that I wrote down. You can change your feeling by changing your thoughts. I wrote that down. So when you get those feelings of, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed or I'm scared or, especially pertaining to a goal, oh my gosh, I'm not going to reach the goal. I think that's probably why I'm really resistant. She talked about undershooting your goals or overshooting your goals. I'm not sure how you find the middle ground. I know better than to undershoot my goals. But I don't necessarily know how to not overshoot my goals. And that puts me in that frozen place again. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. What's realistic, what's attainable, really? Do you guys find that you struggle with that?
I do. I know I do. I do that. I do, because even last night when we were on, what call we were on last night? We were on a call last night. Whatever we were on last night, and I was jotting, yes, the level up. Thank you. And we were jotting down, what our goals were, and what I typed in was my goal is this month is get back to SCE and stay there and help build my team. And my stretch goal is to get to director this month, but I don't know how I'm going to do that this month because of my downline and everything. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of how I put a goal and then I put a stretch goal, and I know my stretch goal a lot of times is way too high. for where I'm currently at. I know my stretch
Right.
goal is, it'll take time to get there. It's not going to happen right now. But that's my stretch goal. But I think my goal is attainable, but I don't know if I'm underselling my goal. You know what I mean? I mean, I think I can get there with the people that I have and with what's going on, but the stretch goal is way beyond what I think I can do.
Right.
So it is finding that in between.
So we can definitely talk offline about that. I think you're absolutely right. And so maybe it doesn't have to be SCE to director. Maybe it's SCE and I'm going to add 2 people, or maybe it's SCE and I'm going to do this much in sales. So it doesn't have to always be, we talk, I remember coaching last year, or the year before with Kelly, you automatically like, oh, I'm going to hit NED. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And she's like, why don't you just level off? Right? Like, why don't you just maintain in a place and be realistic about what that looks like?
Right.
And I really appreciated that, because you're really sort of, taught, or what, I don't know if the word taught is, but you're certainly encouraged to go for the next, go for the highest, go for the biggest,
Right.
all of that stuff, where there's great value in just leveling where you are, and then go a little bit higher, but hit that spot for a little while. And
Yes.
really, what is the word I'm looking for? Is it maintain? Anyway, maintain,
Right.
hit that, and then stay there for a little while.
Yep.
So it's solid, right? Which is, anyway, that was really helpful to me. Megan, did you have something you wanted to share as well?
Yeah, I think that like A, as humans, but B, even as she said here with some of those, was towards the beginning, like with some of the types, the straight A student, the 9-to-5 employee, all those things. As humans, we're taught productivity is results. And now as entrepreneurs who are making sure that we're hitting our goals and making a certain amount of money, or our team is hitting certain goals, doing those things, it's almost like this inherent bond that we have to hit those goals. We feel like we're supposed to level up because we've been taught from society that we're always supposed to be leveling up.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says where you are right now is good enough. Everybody says you can do more, you can do better. What are you going to do next? Right? Like, so going off of what you're saying, like it goes against the grain to say like, oh, I can stay here for a little bit. I can be comfortable and I can enjoy this, because we're always taught to go for the next thing. Right.
Yep. Yeah.
But
And
it's hard.
I'm sorry.
It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to accept that like, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be right now, when the universe or yourself or your actions or other people's actions are telling you this isn't good enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wanted to add on, thank you for saying that, Megan. So taking it beyond ourselves and now to our team, this is why it's so incredibly important that we recognize the actions that people are taking and not necessarily the results that they have. Whatever actions they're doing, if they're doing the right actions, doesn't matter actually if they succeeded or failed, they're doing the right thing. That's good.
Yeah.
We want them to do that. We want to do that as well.
I like what she said about, and Lori had put it in the chat too, about missing goals. Don't adjust the goals, adjust the timeline.
Yeah. Yep.
Because that's part of, if you're not stretching, then you're not going to get where you want to go. But at the same time, give yourself grace if you don't hit that. Give yourself grace and recognize the accomplishments that you did do.
Yeah.
Because if you're stretching, then you're going to do more than just being in your comfort zone, more than what you would have done if you were just stayed in your comfort zone.
Right. And as somebody who coaches people, I would say also, and a lot of people on here, we all, if you have a team, you're coaching people, being honest with your coach, right? Because your coach, wants you to do when I coach, I want you to get what you want, right? Do I want you to hit, whatever it is, the director or whatever? Absolutely I do. but it's not about me. It's about you, and it's about what you want. So am I going to say, come on, Crystal, you going for director? Right. And if you're like, actually, I'm not going for director. I just need to level at where I am. That's way better information for me. Right. Because now I know how to coach you better. So just from that perspective, be honest with whoever you're working with about what it is that you want, so that, we're not putting what we think you want. Right. So just being really open and honest about it. Something else I can't remember now. Something else kind of popped up for me, but I'll come back to it, I guess. But it sounds like this was really good, you guys. I mean, I really am appreciating the open conversation, and you guys being very authentic and very vulnerable and honest, and I really appreciate it. I think we'll be stronger when we're more honest with one another. And now, that is not to say that you shouldn't go for the no, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not really kidding, but because I do think that is part of it as well, right? Yes, 1000% have grace for where you are and what's going on in your life, but don't use it as an excuse, right? If you, like she talked about, if you want to make $100 a month, cool, go for it. If you're here to really truly build a business, and you're going to have to be uncomfortable. You are going to feel some of these yucky feelings, but we're here to talk through it. We're here to grace with accountability. Bobby, exactly. Grace with accountability. I love it. Yeah. Good. Okay. Has anybody else started day 2? Isn't it good? I love it. I love it. I love it. Good. Okay, I'm going to keep these things at a half hour unless we're in some crazy heated discussion, but I want to keep them at a half hour, and this is what it looks like. We're just going to talk, right, about what we learned and what we're taking away from it. Okay, I love that you guys are here. Oh, let's do a picture. Everybody get cute. Everybody cute. Oh, hi, Taritha. Let me close this so they can't see people's names. Hold on one second. Close it. Close. Okay. That did not close it. One moment, please. Close. There we go. Yeah. Yay. I love that you guys showed up. You're awesome. Perfect. All right. I'll see you back here tomorrow night, 5 o'clock, day 2. Mwah. Good night, you guys. Thank you.